Tonight, the sudden flash flood emergency happening right now. The states of emergency across the Northeast, roads suddenly washed out. This big rig nearly underwater. Other drivers trapped in their cars. Flood swamping factories as water cascades down over trains. Even a major space launch scrubbed on the launch pad in Florida. We're tracking it all. The face of a killer? Police say this man, an elementary school teacher, admitted to killing that couple hiking with their 2 young daughters in Devil's Den Park. Police taking him down as he was getting a haircut. Parents of his former students telling us about his strange habits in the classroom. We'll take you inside that Delta flight where dozens ended up in the hospital because of intense turbulence. Why a passenger tells us it felt like hitting a brick wall. And what airlines are trying to do to cut down on these rising and dangerous incidents. Plus,
everyone was here that day working their ass off, and you were nowhere to be found.
Also tonight, you'll hear the moments emergency officials are confronted over those deadly floods in Texas over the 4th of July. Why an emergency official said he was asleep while the deadly waters rose. As the president tries to separate himself from the Jeffrey Epstein firestorm, the family of Virginia Giuffre speaking out on camera to our Hallie Jackson, their emotional plea in the case. What Justin Timberlake is saying about his health diagnosis and how it's impacting his world tour. The incredible birth, the world's oldest baby, born from an embryo frozen 3 decades ago. And imagine riding this wild amusement park attraction breaking apart mid-ride. How did everyone survive? Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. Tonight, as we come on the air, parts of New York and New Jersey under states of emergency. Storms closing in on the East Coast. This new video just coming into the newsroom showing rescues in Potomac, Maryland, just outside of D.C. Maryland also seen serious flooding near Baltimore. In Queens, New York, look at this. Cars submerged on a major expressway. A driver trapped in their car all in the middle of the afternoon rush. Travel trouble seen in New Jersey with roads flooded in New York's Grand Central Station. Look at this. And New York Airport seen delays of more than an hour. In Philadelphia, water pouring through the ceiling of an underground train station. Aaron McLaughlin tonight joins us live down. Aaron, you have much more on those Maryland rescues happening right now?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. I want to show you this harrowing video out of Maryland. It shows first responders carrying 2 children from a submerged car to safety. You see them cautiously wade through the waters, rescuing those children. It's a shocking scene and the latest from this dangerous summer storm. Tonight in New York, a severe storm slamming the city with pounding rain, leading to scenes like this. Chaos on the roads in Queens, a tractor trailer and cars submerged. And in Manhattan, a major expressway underwater.
I thought it was going to be like light rain because I saw the forecast yesterday and they said it might rain at 3, it might rain at 6, and I was like, whatever, all right. I just didn't expect Bayside Lure Station to turn into a river.
The city's trains also impacted and businesses closed.
You may not be able to tell right now, but I'm completely soaked.
Nearly 50 million Americans are on flood alert from Virginia to Connecticut.
Came down really fast as rain was coming sideways.
With multiple water rescues reported in Maryland and a state of emergency declared in Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
On our way, we're going to go try to see if we can get a sump pump.
Parts of the subway flooded in Philly, while in Plainfield, New Jersey, water once again overtaking entire neighborhoods. Even a tornado warning. Less than a month after the streets look like this. When you heard tornado, what went through your mind?
That we had to evacuate, that we had to leave. I mean, my husband loves the house. I love the house, but I love my life better.
2 weeks ago, rushing water swept through Alexandra Esparza's North Plainfield home. Now she's terrified it could happen again.
Yeah, I just want this to be over. I want to sell the house and I want to move on.
Meanwhile, at airports up and down the East Coast, stormy weather spelled flight delays and cancellations. In Florida, the latest SpaceX launch scrubbed.
Hold. We are standing down for a violation of weather rules.
The flood threat for New York City is now over. This expressway, once submerged, is now clear, but the flood rains are still impacting other cities. Tom?
Okay, we're going to pick it up from there. Aaron, we thank you. I want to bring in Bill Cairns. Bill, 5 inches of rain in an hour in some spots, and the threat is still on for D.C.?
Yeah, another example this summer, incredible rainfall rates. It's been so humid this summer. We've had one event after another like this, and this one was the worst earlier this afternoon in areas outside of New York City. But even at this hour, we still have over 12 areas under flash flood warnings currently, an area of heavy rain from Albany to Boston, and then thunderstorms continue from areas outside of D.C. The area in Queens that saw the heaviest rain, it was isolated, but they picked up about 3 to 4 inches in a short period of time, less than an hour. This is where the rainfall rate was over 5 inches an hour at one point, and the infrastructure just can't handle it. It can't get rid of the water that fast. For the rest of this evening, we'll watch the rain exiting Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Still some isolated heavy downpours and flash flooding, Delaware, Maryland, and southern New Jersey.
All right, Bill Cairns. Bill, we thank you for tracking all of that. Okay, we're going to turn now to a major break in the shocking double murder of a couple out hiking with their daughters in Arkansas. An elementary school teacher admitted to the crime after police arrested him mid-haircut. Sam Brock spoke to the mother of one of his former students.
Tonight, police say the man responsible for a brutal double murder in Arkansas is an elementary school teacher.
The suspect indicated that he did commit these murders.
After a sweeping 5-day manhunt, Andrew James McGann was captured at a barbershop where the stylist said he declined to sign in.
As I was cutting his hair, I noticed he had very dry scalp and how matted his hair was. And then it just turned out that, it was him.
Within minutes, law enforcement is through your door.
Yes.
The arrest, a mere 25 miles from Devil's Den State Park, where Clinton and Kristen Brink were violently stabbed to death, according to investigators. They believe Clinton was attacked first as his wife fled with their daughters.
We believe that the mother took them to safety and then returned to help her husband.
The girls made it to the park's visitor center.
They advised that their parents were assaulted.
Police say there's no known connection between the family and McGann. Both had recently moved to the area, McGann for a teaching job.
He broke down crying and told me that he had seen some things in class that made him really uncomfortable. But that
Sierra Markham says McGann was her son Jax's 4th grade teacher in Texas. Here he is in the yearbook. It was the first of 4 teaching stops he would make in 4 years. What kind of things did your son see that made him so upset?
So he told me that him and several classmates had noticed Mr. McGann paying extra attention to certain girls in class. When it was recess, he would keep certain girls back for just like one-on-one in the classroom. And when they would come back from recess, he would have the little girl on his lap.
The district says they found no evidence of inappropriate behavior, but did place McGann on administrative leave for classroom management and judgment issues. Tonight, police say they haven't determined a motive, while the Brink family says Clinton and Kristen died heroes, protecting their little girls. And Tom, here's the thing. Other schools McGann worked for telling NBC News they performed full background checks and found no red flags.
Chilling details there. Okay, Sam Brock for us. Sam, we thank you. In the Texas Hill Country, an emotional hearing today with residents sharing heartbreaking stories of loss and local officials grilled over their response to the devastating flooding on the 4th of July. Ryan Chandler tonight with that video.
The river that we've loved so much killed them. I'm sorry.
We climbed into cedar trees, and I had to help my 66-year-old mom.
In Kerrville tonight, grief and anger boiling over at a hearing on the response to the catastrophic flooding on July 4th. State officials grilling local leaders, pointing out one top county official was out of town.
Everyone was here that day working their ass off, and you were nowhere to be found.
While 2 other key officials admitted they were asleep when the floodwaters began to rapidly rise, including the Kerr County Emergency Coordinator, who said he was sick that week.
I was awakened around 5:30 a.m. on July the 4th by my wife, following a call from the City of Kerrville EMC, Jeremy Hughes, requesting that I mobilize. I reported immediately to the sheriff's office.
Should he keep his job?
Those decisions we made at the local level, what I can tell you is somebody has to have the authority that's present in the moment to basically call a code red.
More than 130 people lost their lives.
And you knew a lot of people who died. 27.
For Bud Bolton, the loss is still so raw.
It's just stories after stories after stories after stories of my friends telling me we lost my son-in-law, we can't find my daughter.
Bud's son Ashton told us he found a girl's body, retrieving it in a kayak.
That must stick with you.
Absolutely. Sticks with me
when I closed my eyes and lay my head down at night.
They say the government response was too little, too late.
Nothing was done. Nothing was done. They chose not to do it. Chose not to do it. It all comes back to that right there.
Ryan Chandler, NBC News, Kerrville, Texas.
We thank Ryan and his team for that one. Tonight, the FAA says it will investigate a case of severe turbulence that forced a Delta Airlines flight headed to Europe to make an emergency landing in Minneapolis. More than 24 people had to be rushed to hospitals. Here's Tom Costello.
Minneapolis airport plane spotters streamed the emergency landing live.
Delta 56 was bound for Amsterdam. Schiphol departed Salt Lake City a few hours ago.
Ambulances lined up for dozens of patients after the Delta jumbo jet hit extreme turbulence over Wyoming.
It's a heavy Airbus, and they do have a medical emergency on board.
Photos show the aftermath: food, bottles, backpacks, and service cards. 25 passengers and crew members taken to area hospitals. Leanne Nash, on board with her husband, says everything went flying.
Literally without absolutely any warning, we hit what, appears to be like a brick wall.
We really thought that this was going to tear the plane apart. And so for a brief moment, we thought we were going to die.
In a statement, Delta says all 7 crew members who were taken to area hospitals were treated and released. Aviation experts say summer heat can supercharge violent clear air turbulence. Flights over mountain ranges can be especially vulnerable.
If you imagine the airflow over this wing experiencing a sudden updraft, this wing will be pushed up violently and instantaneously, and the airplane will tilt to the left.
Invisible to radar, pilots rely on fellow pilots' radio reports to avoid it, as we saw at the American Airlines Command Center. When you get into bad turbulence, what are your options?
Either rise above it or dip under it. Most of the time, when you're in it, you have to ride through it.
5,000 cases a year. Flight attendants suffer 78% of the injuries. Climate researchers and many aviation experts believe climate change has led to more severe turbulence. A good reminder to always wear your seatbelt. Tom?
Yeah, it is. Tom, we thank you for that. We want to head overseas now to the high-stakes meeting in the Middle East. President Trump's envoy meeting with Israel's prime minister as criticism is growing over conditions in Gaza. Here's Matt Bradley.
Tonight, in the midst of growing criticism of Israel over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, President Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. President Trump has described some conditions in Gaza as starvation.
Those are kids that are starving. They got to get them food, and we're going to get them food.
While the president today calling out Hamas, posting the fastest way to end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages. The U.S. and Israel blame Hamas for blocking a ceasefire deal. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry says the death toll from hunger in Gaza has risen to nearly 160 people, more than half of them children. Since Sunday, Israel has been allowing more aid drops from the air. Hundreds of desperate Gazans carrying away sacks of food today.
What we're seeing here is a crime scene.
These American doctors in Gaza warn for the most vulnerable, help may be too late, inviting Witkoff to visit their hospital when he comes to Gaza tomorrow.
It's not unusual to see 5, 7-year-old children just pass out and to be disoriented from lack of food.
And for the first time today, several Arab and Muslim countries issued a joint call for Hamas to disarm and relinquish power in Gaza. Tom?
Matt Bradley for us tonight, and we will be right back with the blowback over the Jeffrey Epstein scandal as the family of one of his most vocal accusers speaks out for the first time on camera. Tonight amid talk over clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell, their message to President Trump. Back now with our emotional interview with the family of Virginia Giuffre, one of Jeffrey Epstein's most vocal accusers, responding to President Trump after he spoke out about her overnight, saying Epstein, quote, stole her, hiring her away from the Mar-a-Lago spa decades ago. Here's Hallie Jackson with that interview.
The family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's most vocal accusers speaking out publicly tonight.
She wasn't an object.
They're responding to this moment this week when the president suggested Epstein stole Virginia Giuffre from his Mar-a-Lago club decades ago when she worked there.
He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
What went through your mind when you heard that?
I think we were shocked by it.
especially to use the term stolen, because she's not an object. She's a person.
The White House press secretary says President Trump was directly responding to a question posed by a reporter about Ms. Giuffre. He did not bring her up. President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's wrongdoing and said he kicked Epstein out of his club for being a creep. President Trump today.
Did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. I don't know really why. But I said if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing. I didn't like it, and we threw him out.
Giuffre, who died by suicide in April, said it was Epstein's convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited and trafficked her. Her family now urging the administration and the president not to pardon Maxwell.
I think that my sister would have been mortified if she were let out of prison.
I think the word that comes to mind is it would be an abomination.
A senior administration official tells NBC News no leniency is being given or discussed, but President Trump has not publicly ruled it out.
There's more to be said and there's more to be done for these survivors. They deserve justice. We deserve to know.
Sky, will you keep fighting on behalf of your sister, on behalf of other survivors?
Every day.
Maxwell's attorney did not comment today, but previously, when asked about a pardon, said Maxwell would welcome any relief. Tom?
Hallie Jackson for us. Hallie, we thank you for that interview. We're back in a moment with what some are calling the world's oldest baby after it was born from an embryo frozen decades ago. Plus, Justin Timberlake revealing a new diagnosis that he says is having an impact on how he performs. What we know, that's next. We're back now with a terrifying moment. A ride at an amusement park, look at this, started losing control. You can see the ride in Saudi Arabia going back and forth before it appears to come loose, and then it just, look right there, splits in half. Many of those people, as you can imagine, were seriously hurt, with some hospitals nearby declaring a state of emergency. The exact number of people hurt and what went wrong is still unclear. Also tonight, a new scientific record has been broken. A baby was born from the oldest embryo that was stored for more than 30 years. Lindsay and Tim Pierce of Ohio adopted the embryo from a Christian embryo adoption agency. Tim, the father, was just a toddler when the embryo was created, and now the baby's name is Thaddeus. And in the music world, Justin Timberlake revealing tonight that he has been diagnosed with Lyme disease just after he wrapped up his world tour. He called his experience relentlessly debilitating and said his diagnosis came as a shock. He also said he believes he felt nerve pain, sickness, and fatigue while he was performing because of that Lyme disease. Okay, when we come back, there's good news tonight. Breaking the bro code. You'll meet the men who walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to keeping in touch. That's next. Finally, there's a different kind of good news tonight for men who realize they don't have as many friends as they once did. Joe Fryer reports on how more guys are putting in the work to do what came so easily to us as kids.
I feel like all of the best people I've met in my adult life have been here in New York.
The name of this group strolling through Central Park is quite fitting. Walking, talking men.
I'm trying to get better at finding time for myself.
Twice a week, that's exactly what they do, candidly chatting about their lives.
They're getting the kind of connection that they need and that they haven't had in their life.
It used to make me uncomfortable
To be around other men.
trying to be a friend.
Trying to be a friend.
I wasn't sure how to do it.
Mark Green co-founded the group last year, finding no shortage of interest.
We have huge numbers of social isolation for men, for everyone, but for men specifically.
Show of hands, before this, who here was feeling lonely?
It's not easy to admit, but they're far from alone. One study finds just 27% of men have at least 6 close friends. 15% report having no close friends.
I had thought I had a lot of friends, and I did, but when I really looked at the connections I had with them, I realized that something was missing a little bit.
In 2023, the Surgeon General issued an advisory about loneliness, saying it increased the risk of premature death by 26%, on par with smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
If I have a busy day,
I never have a problem with loneliness.
Matt Ritter and Aaron Carroll created a podcast, Man of the Year, to address the issue.
In high school, you learned sex ed, but you never learned friend ed. Especially for men, we need tools.
They tell men, find your third place. Not home, not work, but someplace you can find guys with similar interests. And when you make that connection, plan something.
People are afraid, oh, if I text Jim, Jim's not going to like it. Trust us, he's waiting for you to text him.
Their advice, TCS. Text weekly, call monthly, see each other quarterly. These walking, talking men have learned the benefits of face-to-face meetups.
I get a little bit of exercise for my body and for my brain and my heart, too.
It's only been a few months, but is it fair to call this life-changing?
Yes, it's changed my life. I think the thing that I want to communicate to men is that anyone can do this.
Just walk the walk and talk the talk. Joe Fryer, NBC News, New York.
We thank Joe for that story and a programming note tonight. The Hall of Fame game just moments away between the Chargers and the Lions. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.